The fast way to go from 30% to 10% body fat. It's 2025 and I'm going to show you how to fast forward your transformation, going from 30% to 10% quickly. And I've done this myself 5 times in the last decade. 2 of the 5 transformations I've done have happened as little as 60 to 90 days. It's sustainable and it will be a science-based approach. It's simple but not easy, and I'm going to give you the exact plan you need to follow, no guesswork. I use a formula that I created called the mechanical rules of fat loss, and things move quickly, so you can just copy and paste this information and fast forward your transformation. My name is Dr. Michael Diamonds. I'm a scientist, I'm a medical doctor, and a pro natural bodybuilder. These 5 rules I've used on all of my clients: Harry, Donnie, Tori, Sandra, Hallie, Kathy, even my own mother. Let's not waste time. Let's dive straight in. Mechanical rule number 1, I call mental fitness. Think about it. Every decision you ever make starts in your brain. Do you order a Starbucks Frappuccino or a black coffee? Do you go to the bar on the weekend, or do you stay at home and watch a movie? Do you take a bite of your partner's Kit Kat, or do you stick to your diet? Let's take this a layer deeper. You need to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and picture your other self, a higher self, a more empowered, stronger, confident, intelligent version of you. And I want you to take that image and I want you to write 5 to 10 reasons why you want to become that version. And I'm gonna get a little bit vulnerable here. These were mine before I started. I wanted to show the world that I was a man of my word, and that's how this YouTube channel started. I wanted to have a larger pool of dating partners to find the perfect wife. 3, I wanted to be a symbol for natural health in this industry. Number 4, I wanted to achieve financial freedom. And 5, I wanted to inspire my mom. I want you to do the same, and when you do, I want you to write it on a list. Use your notes on your iPhone and write down 5 to 10 reasons of why you want to get to 10% body fat and why that will be beneficial for you. And you'll quickly see how easy it will become to say no to the things that are going to delay your success. You're going to start saying no to the Frappuccino. The drinks at the bar you're going to say no to. The Kit Kat of your partner. With every no, think of that as a rep on the bench press. Every time you say it, the stronger you get, the more mentally fit you become, and you'll start seeing your physique taking shape. Your body is a lagging indicator to your brain. You need to be mentally fit to finally be physically fit. I want you to take a moment and write in the comments down below if you've achieved a transformation. How true is it that you needed to make this mental adjustment before you saw your physique take place? Share your story. I think you might be able to inspire the person watching this video, making the consideration. Mechanical rule 2 is the perfect deficit. Going from 30% to 10% doesn't mean eating less food. It's the calories in, what you eat and drink, and the calories out, what your body burns each day. But the problem is, when most people think about starting a deficit, they only focus on the first part of that equation, which is eating less food. And let's be honest here, most people are starving themselves without even thinking about it. Or they think the way to burn more calories is to exercise more. Cardio is usually the biggest culprit here, but that's not true at all. The calories out part, also called your TDEE, stands for total daily energy expenditure. It's a scientific breakdown of where your body's burning calories every day. This part is the most shocking. Exercise is usually the smallest piece at the top. It burns the least, with majority of what you burn coming from places that aren't in the gym. So simply starving yourself or doing crazy amounts of training and cardio isn't the smartest way to go about it. It would make a lot more sense if we focus on the bigger pieces of creating the perfect deficit. For example, the calories you burn should come from things that aren't necessarily exercise, which is your non-exercise movement. For example, walking more, standing more, and you'll be shocked that this actually burns 3 times more calories compared to working out. Or like the calories you burn digesting food, your thermic effect of food, which is 10% of this whole equation. Like eating more protein will burn 6 times more calories compared to eating more carbs and fats. Or all the other things that focus on the biggest part, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate, that's 70% of the equation. Building more muscle mass is in that, sleeping more, low stress levels. So let's first tackle the first piece of the equation without starving yourself. Let's talk about caloric intake so that you can make this for yourself. I'm going to use my client Tori as an example. He's 36 years old. When we started working together, he was 217 pounds, his height 5'11", and he was training 5 times per week, and I consider this a moderately active individual. To keep it simple and easy with this formula to figure out calories, we will take Tori's starting weight and multiply that by 13 to figure out his maintenance calories. calories. So 217 pounds, which is the starting weight, and we multiply that by 13, which gives us 2,821. So all you should do is take your weight right now, multiply that by 13. So Tori's maintenance calories came out to be 2,821. And for him to be in a caloric deficit, he had to minus that by 500 calories, and I did that for him. And that equals 2,321 calories. And I'm just going to round it off to 2,300. So now you know how to create your own caloric deficit. You take your weight, multiply that by 13, and minus that by 500. Pro tip, why that 500 number exists, we know that a pound of fat is equal to 3,500 calories. Divide that by 7 days in a week. 3,500 divided by 7 is 500. Now let's figure out Tori's macros, and this is the fast and easy way to do it. With protein, we want to give the traditional 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. This way we make sure that we're not just losing weight, we're losing fat and not muscle. So Tori, we want to give him 217 grams of protein. Fats, the lowest I ever go with anybody, and especially with a male, is 50 grams of fat. With females as well, I like to start at 50 grams of fat. So now we know Tori's protein is 217 grams, fats will be 50. With the remaining calories Tori has, we're going to allocate that all just towards carbs, which comes out to be 245 grams of carbs. Remember, these macros are just numbers. We actually need to put it into practice. Think of when Elon was sending rockets into the sky. He made all the calculations, but the rockets were still crashing. He put it into practice and then he made some tweaks. So put it into practice. What is important is eating that exact amount of food every day. Now this gets interesting. Most of my clients enjoy a 3-meal frequency. And this is the logic I want to use. I want you to have 1 meal for performance, 1 meal for sustainability, and 1 meal for enjoyment. This is the perfect balance. So example for me, my performance meal is pumpkin, low glycemic index, and grilled barbecue with high protein steak. And my stability meal that I know I can eat this every day for a month, 2 months, is I eat 4 wraps that are tasty, that have veggies in there. It has the macros and micros. And then my 1 enjoyment meal is a pint of ice cream. So I want you to remember this forever. And this is what you're going to use to build your own plan. I want you to write down 2, 6, 8, 10 equals 50. So for example, this is for protein. 2 scoops of whey protein is equivalent to 50 grams of protein. 6 ounces in this 2, 6, 8, 10 of cooked chicken breast is equivalent to 50 grams of protein. 8 ounces of cooked steak is 50 grams of protein. 10 ounces of white fish is equivalent to 50 grams of protein. So now you have 4 protein options that you can pick and the exact amount that you should eat to hit 50 grams. So let's do the same for carbs. So 2 cups of cooked rice is equivalent to 50 grams of carbs. 6 ounces of sweet potato is equivalent to 50 grams of carbs. The same applies for pasta. 8 ounces of cooked pasta is equivalent to 50 grams of carbs, and 10 ounces of oats is equivalent to 50 grams of carbs. The fats will take care of themselves because there's fats in the protein sources. And using this simple framework, you can now build your own plan, and you can build 16 variations of different meal plans. So example, for breakfast, you can do 10 ounces of oats and 2 scoops of protein. For lunch, you can do 6 ounces of sweet potato and 8 ounces of lean steak. For dinner, you can do 2 cups of cooked rice and 6 ounces of chicken breast. And a snack, you can do 10 ounces of white fish and 8 ounces of pasta. So there you have it. But like I made you a promise, I'm going to give you meal plans to follow. So here is a booklet with 21 different recipes with the exact amount of foods and the exact macros to follow. It's linked in the description. I'm not going to ask you for an email or your name or anything. You can click the link and you can download it immediately. And I'm going to do you one better. In the description as well, I will put down the exact video showing you how to prepare each one of those recipes, the 5 best breakfasts, best lunches, best dinners, and best snacks. You now have no excuses to create your own meal plan. So now the next question is, Dr. Mike, how do I know that this meal plan is working? And you may want to be able to use a scale, but most people think that they're doing it correctly, and you might not be using your weight scale correctly. So right now, Most people are weighing themselves once or twice a week or even less, and that can backfire. And you may be asking, okay, why? Because you might be catching yourself on a day when you're weighing yourself when your weight temporarily spikes, and that leads you to believe that you're not making progress even when you are. And here's a better way to do it. I want you to step on the scale every morning as soon as you wake up. I want you to wear no clothing, do it before eating or drinking anything, and make sure that you've used the bathroom first. And I want you to keep this up for 14 days straight. Then I want you to calculate the average of the 7 days and compare it to the average of the last 7 days. That difference will give you a much more accurate picture of your true weekly weight loss rate. Other tools you can use to see if the diet is working is you can also take pictures the first week Monday and the second week Monday and compare them and look. And to take it even another level, I want you to take your body measurements. I like using a Renpho tape, and you can have a look and see if your biceps have gone up in size. And you might even see, hey, my waist has come down, which tells you one thing: you've built muscle and you've lost some inches, lost some fat. Before I transition into mechanical rule number 3, if you are 30 years old and above and you've tried everything, there's actually a scientific explanation for it, and I'm going to explain it to you at the end of the video, so watch till the end as to why 30-year-olds, men and women, cannot lose fat. And this is probably going to help you break a plateau, and maybe it doesn't apply to you. You can share this with someone else. But let's move over to mechanical rule number 3. Mechanical rule number 3, the Cardio Accelerator. What I'm about to share with you is exactly what so many of my clients have done, like Nicholas, who lost his belly fat in 4 weeks making these cardio adjustments, and have done every single cardio machine you can imagine. The battle ropes, sprinting, box jumps, assault bike, you name it, I've done it. But some of these machines will burn more protein in the form of muscle and carbs in the form of glycogen instead of fat, which is not what we want. This is by far the best cardio. So let's go back to our TDEE. The second biggest portion of our equation is your non-exercise, like walking. This is the informal cardio plan that I want you to follow, and you can just screenshot this. So in week 1 of the plan, I want you to do 10,000 steps, and there's a science-based reason for this. Week 2, I want you to increase that to 11,000. Week 3, 12,000. Week 4, 13,000. Week 5, 14,000. Week 6, 15,000. And you can increase it from here, or you can just maintain it. At 15K, it can become a bit more challenging because you'll be pressed for more time. Let me show you another hack. We can also include the formal cardio. Formal cardio just means that you have a set cardio machine you want to use. You have a frequency, which is how often you want to do it per week, and you have a duration, which is how long you want to be on the machine, and a target heart rate. So for example, 1, you can do any of these following cardio machines: treadmill, Stairmaster, elliptical, or a rower. Those are my favorite. Number 2, you need to get into the heart rate range of 130 to 140 beats per minute. This is called your zone 2 cardio. This is an amazing fat burning zone, and you can follow this specific formal cardio plan. So in week 1, I want you to do 1 session of formal cardio and 15-minute duration. Week 2, I want you to increase your frequency, and I want you to do 2 sessions and at 15 minutes. Week 3, we increase both our frequency and duration at 3 sessions at 20 minutes. Week 4, 4 sessions at 20 minutes. Week 5, 4 by 30. Week 6, 5 by 30. Week 7, 5 by 35. Week 8, 5 by 40. Depending on your time, you can increase the frequency or duration to lose fat faster, add a bit more gas. It's all about how many minutes you're doing in total per week. Why it's called the Cardio Accelerator is that we know if you're between 160 to 200 pounds, you're burning about 500 calories per 10,000 steps. And if you do this every day for 1 week, you'll burn an extra pound of fat on top of what you're doing. Remember what I said? 500 calories times 7 is equivalent to 3,500 calories, which is equivalent to 1 pound of fat. So if you're increasing weekly, you're just putting more gas to the throttle. This is also another example of a client of mine. Look at what I did with JL. In week 1 to 4, we did 2 sessions of cardio at 30 minutes. He was at 6 kilometers per hour, which is about 3.2 miles per hour on the treadmill, and he did max incline, and he did 10,000 steps. Week 4 to 6, he did 4 sessions of cardio at 30 minutes, same speed, max incline on the treadmill, and he was doing 12,000 steps. Week 8 to 10, he did 5 sessions of cardio at 60 minutes, max speed at 6 kilometers per hour, 3.2 miles per hour, max incline at 15,000 steps. Week 10 to 13, he did 6 sessions of cardio at 70 minutes, same incline, same speed, and he was doing a total of 20,000 steps. And this is what he did, and I want you to continue watching till the end of the video because I'm going to show you exactly what we did with all the other factors on a week-to-week basis. And the reason I'm showing you this is so that you guys can manipulate your own cardio according to your time. So don't feel so rigid to the plan I've just given you. I want to give you the tools to make your adjustment. So you may ask, Dr. Mike, how did you manage to hit your cardio and steps? And this is what I do. Number 1, I wake up early, and this allowed me to walk for an hour, and this alone can get you 6,000 steps. 10 minutes of walking will give you 1,000 steps. And I would walk to the gym and back, right? And it's 10 minutes to the gym and 10 minutes back. That gave me 2,000 steps. And in between my workout, instead of sitting and being on my phone, I was walking in there as well. And if I had 20 sets per workout, which means I had 20 minutes of rest, a minute rest every set, that was 2,000 steps. And we know, like I mentioned, that if you're between 160 to 200 pounds, you're burning 500 calories per day at 10,000 steps. So if you walk 10,000 steps per 7 days, that's equivalent to 3,500 calories per week, which is exactly 1 extra pound of fat. Step number 4 is focusing on your basal metabolic rate. And like I mentioned, the biggest shift that I have had is building more muscle. It is the most valuable thing that you can do, especially when you're 30 years old and above. So if you're a beginner to an intermediate, usually you can follow any plan that has the basics of targeting every muscle group twice and making sure that you're doing in a week 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. So without getting too complicated, here is a 3-day training split, a 4-day training split on the screen, a 5-day training split, and you can just screenshot these and follow this plan. If you're an intermediate to a beginner, this will help you because this is exactly what I did. In the past, before we had websites and AI, we would just download plans from bodybuilding.com and it gets you to your destination. When you get to an expert, when you become a pro, then you can get more specific on the workouts. As long as you're training a minimum of 3 times per week and a maximum of 6 and you're being consistent. What I want you to focus on when you're training is that with bodybuilding and building muscle, your main concern is quality, contraction, concentric parts of the movement, and relaxation, eccentric parts of the movement. And you're repeating this, and this is the main focus. You want to focus on your form. And then the second thing is you want to make sure that you're improving the weight that you're using. So let's say you're doing a bicep curl, that you're going from 10 pounds to 15 pounds, then to 20 pounds. And even if the increments are smaller, that is fine. And the second thing is also that you're increasing the number of reps. So let's say for the bicep curl, you could only do 8. If you're doing 10, voila, you're building more muscle. Finally, if you can do both, you can increase the reps and weight over time. This is a powerful indicator that you're building more muscle. But I've given you the training plan to follow. And all I ask is share this with a friend. If you want them to follow a plan and you want them to get into better shape, I truly believe this video will give them all the tools and steps that they need to finally quickly lose their belly fat. And the final reason why building more muscle will help you lose fat faster is that muscle burns more calories at rest compared to fat, almost 7 times more. Finally, step number 5, which also focuses on that basal metabolic rate, is your sleep. It is by far the most underrated tool in this, and it will correct all the mistakes. If you're sleeping 5 hours, it is the equivalent of you trying to sprint with a 30-40 pound back on your back. Why this is? When you're sleeping more, your body's going to produce more testosterone, your body's going to produce more estrogen, your body's going to produce more growth hormone, all the hormones necessary for you to build more muscle and lose more fat. Your stress levels are going to be lower, and you'll also notice it's easier to stick to a diet. But I want you to be sleeping 7 hours minimum, 8 to 9 hours if you can. And let's say you're at 5 hours, focus on improving that. Go to 5 hours and a half, then go to 6 hours, then go to 7 hours. And that's what I want you to keep building on. Follow a good routine. Use the method I call 10-3-2-1 as your sleeping routine. 10 hours before bed, no more caffeine. We don't want there to be caffeine in your bloodstream keeping you from falling asleep. So 10 hours before bed. The 3 hours before bed, I want you to have no more food in your system. This way that you're not digesting when you're trying to fall asleep. 2 hours before bed, no more liquids. I don't want you to be waking up at night to use the bathroom. 1 hour before bed, no more screens. The light on your screens emit the same light that the sun does, which tells your brain, hey, it's still light outside, don't go to sleep. But if you stop looking at screens at least an hour before, you'll go to bed easier because it'll produce melatonin. But like I promised, I'm going to speak to those who are 30 years old and above and why you're not able to lose fat if you've tried everything. So you're 30 years old and you want to know the fastest way to go from 30% to 10% body fat, and maybe you're even just stuck where you are. And I'm going to show you exactly the reason for it for both men and women, and there's a scientific explanation for this because even my own mom dealt with this. And for 2 years prior, she struggled. She did all of these things. She did the intermittent fasting, she did the low keto, calorie restriction, low carb, and even before she started working with me and my team, she was recommended to do Ozempic by her gynae and her endocrinologist, which shocked me. They had no context of what I knew. And this is what's going on with you guys right now. You've tried all these things and you're still stuck. And I'm gonna first talk about men and then talk about women. The first thing and the most important thing, a powerful hormone for men that is decreased is called testosterone. And for women, it's estrogen. I'm gonna get to that now. But what's happening is when this foundation decreases, it makes things incredibly difficult for both men and women. I want you to think of when you went through puberty, your body changed dramatically as a result of increase in estrogen for women and an increase in testosterone for men. When you turn 30 years old, it starts going in the opposite direction, which is why you're feeling a lot of the symptoms you're feeling. And research shows this, right? It shows here that men at the age of 30 years old, on average, are dropping testosterone by 1%. And even more in the cases that you have poor food and lifestyle choices. Now, what's happened is this. You went from being clear thinking, good muscular frame, it was easy for the weight to come off of your body, strong bones, and you were energetic, to this pear-shaped, low energy, low confidence, depressed mood, fatigued man. And the reason for this is a low testosterone. And I'm going to show you guys what you need to do exactly so you can reverse this, so you can go from 30% to 10%. And if you're feeling these symptoms, I highly recommend you watch this video till the end because I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. And the same for women. Women go through what's called perimenopause. And as men decrease in testosterone, women decrease in estrogen, right? Their ovaries gradually start producing less estrogen. And we call this menopausal transition. And for women, this can happen as early as your mid-30s and sometimes even early 30s. And you may be feeling some of these symptoms for women: breast tenderness, mood swings, fatigue, depression, anxiety, hair thinning. You may be feeling all of these symptoms or only some of them. My mom-in-law was dealing with sleeping problems. And if you're sleeping poorly, the weight's gonna pile on and so much more. But we need to uncover specifically what's wrong, right? And I'm going to show you a few clients of mine that dealt with this. Everybody that's come through Sculpt by Science has seen this, but this is at the top of the level in general, the issues we see, but there can be so much more. With my mother, she had metabolic syndrome, which is a cluster of syndromes, 3 that are or more that you can deal with that increase your likelihood of a cardiovascular event by 80%. So when my mom was dealing with this excessive abdominal weight, hyperlipidemia, high amount of fat in the blood, low HDL, so she had a low amount of the good cholesterol. She had high LDL, the bad cholesterol. She is diabetic and had high blood pressure. We needed to reverse this. This is personal to me. I want my mom to live long. I want her to live happy, and I want her to feel amazing. And we reverse this completely, and I'll show you how. But it could be a multitude of things, from the thyroid to cortisol levels, that you're dealing with brain fog. So there could be so many more. PCOS, we see this all the time. So this happened with Robbie, and you can see before, Robbie had no idea. 39 years old, business owner, he's massive in his industry, and he dropped 40.6 pounds until he finally realized that for him, it was low testosterone. He was taking naps at 3 p.m. and look at him now. Happy as can be, six-pack and everything, looking incredible. If you go on his Instagram, Robbie Blancard, you'll see he has a post for me and my team. Trish, same thing, dropped 24 pounds once she finally diagnosed what was truly wrong with her. And for her, she is at that menopausal age, that 44 years old age. And once we uncovered what she was dealing with, the root cause, she dropped 24 pounds. And here's the photo of the McCanns, Trish and Brent. Look at them. They look like they've reversed in age. They took this photo, same location at their same holiday spot. And it just looks like this is like they've gone back in time, which is incredible. Same thing happened with Dawn, 53 years old, down 33 pounds and got to single digit body fat. Kathy, his wife, they were both on the channel. She was skeptical and listen to what she has to say.
Yeah, I got motivated by Don, and doing it together was great. And if somebody doesn't have a partner to do it with, you guys are wonderful. You're always there for us. So it was quite amazing, and it still is.
And down 16 pounds. I share this with you to show you that there's hope. You can do this. You should have no excuse, especially when you have science on your side. Omar, and why I'm showing you guys this is that you don't necessarily need to see the weight scale go down. You just need to go through body recomposition. If your testosterone is higher, you'll build more muscle. More muscle means a decrease in body fat, and that's what happened to Omar. Masha, look at her. She only, for some people, only dropped 6.3 pounds, but finally got to see her abs at 43 years old. So what you all need to do is you need to do a blood diagnosis, and I'll talk about this entire chart here in a little bit, but what can't be measured cannot be managed. If you don't know, knowledge is power. If you don't know, how can you fix it? So I need you guys to all go do a lab test, especially when you're 30 years old and above, and you need to ask your doctors to do these tests with you. And I'm just gonna show you guys these in screenshots. Take a screenshot, take this to your general practitioner and tell them that you wanna see these results and you want them to explain it to you and if they're optimized, right? So take a screenshot of this. This is all extremely important. DEXA scan is extremely important. Cortisol test, extremely important. You can do the Dutch test, growth hormone, all of this. And I'm explaining why they're so important as well. And we could go on and on, but these are all the things that we do at Sculpt by Science that finally give our clients so much clarity. So when you can see the full picture, you then know what exactly to address, right? So take screenshots of this. We take all these tests with our women as well. And this is exactly what we do at Sculpt by Science. Everyone here, Dr. Zeno, Dr. Jess, Coach Max, Dr. Pine, we have Dr. Amy on board. We also have Dr. Sierra, which is a functional doctor. We are an incredible team. This is my family. But this is exactly what we do, right? We take a primary diagnosis, and this is why I say, if you're 30 years old and above, if you want to work with your doctor, do that test that I just showed you, and they should explain everything to you and what needs to be optimized. If something is out of range, then already you need to get that back into range so your body can work the way it used to when you were in your 20s, so that you can go from 30% to 10%. But usually you'll uncover what you're struggling with. But if you want us to do it, this is exactly the method that we use at Sculpt by Science. And honestly, this is the fastest way. Is you've tried all the generic meal plans, diet plans, you've watched plenty of YouTube videos. I think it's important that you work with professionals to be able to get this. So me and my team of medical doctors, we're all medical doctors. And on top of that, we are specialized in medicine 3.0. We have sports scientists on here. We're incredibly qualified. So we do a primary diagnosis, and in short, we take a history of your entire health profile, what you've done in the past to understand how you got to your current problem and your current situation. And in certain events, we'll do a DEXA scan so we have a clear understanding of where you are in terms of visceral fat, bone density, muscle tissue, also where you are in subcutaneous fat. We do a Dutch test to see where you are in terms of cortisol levels. It may be cortisol stopping you from being able to lose weight. In some cases, we need to do a map of your entire gut, see what bacteria are in there. If you're dealing with parasites, if you're dealing with mold issues, you will be shocked from the things that we've uncovered at Sculpt by Science with our clients, but we're very thorough. And again, this is all the work we do. And it's so easy. You just need to follow what we tell you to do. And how we do that is we build out your entire nucleus: precision health, prime recovery, and peak performance. In short, these are the 3 domains we build out for you. That is easy, but it's going to be a new lifestyle change. So precision health is, we'll tell you everything that needs to go in your body specifically. Every calorie, every supplement would have fought for its place on your plate or in your supplements list, so that we can get your levels optimized so that you can lose the weight quickly and sustainably. But I also take into account the psychology behind every single process so that you can do it lifelong. Prime recovery. Recovery is so important. The way I always describe it as, recovery is this wall between you and your goals. Right now, what you guys may be doing is that you're doing the deficit, you're doing all the cardio, but then you need to jump over this very tall wall, and it takes you twice as long to get to your destination, compared to if your recovery is optimized, the wall is as low as it can be, you can quickly get to your result. And I'm talking cortisol management, I'm talking sleep protocols, I'm talking changing your environment. There's so many things that we do that allow us to help you recover very quickly. Peak performance. Muscle tissue is the elixir of health. It is the most powerful longevity drug, and you might be doing it incorrectly, especially when you're 30 and you start dealing with the pains, the wear and tear on your body over the years. And then with application, we make sure that you're applying the nucleus correctly, and we recalibrate each and every single week according to the scientific data that we're doing. And then we re-diagnose each and every single week. And that's the DNA sequence in a nutshell. But for those of you who don't want to come through our doors, do a blood diagnosis, go see your primary care physician and let them explain to you why you're at those levels and what you need to do. The problem is that they'll just say exercise more and lose weight. We give you the details, we'll tell you exactly what to do, we hold your hand. And if that's all you need to hear and you want to work with my team, go to the description of this video, click on this link, it will take you to this page. You'll fill out a short 4-minute application. We get so many applications, we're very selective with who we work with, so please fill out as much as possible. And this usually tells us a lot about if we can truly help someone or not. And we will then jump on a call with me and one of my team members, executive consultants, or one of the medical doctors that you just saw. Please be there on time. Please be conscious. We're a small, tight-knit family. Do not waste our time. We will not waste yours. And these are the people we work with. I highly recommend you apply if you fall in this category, and I don't want to waste your time and mine if you don't. Over the 4 years, these are the clients that we chose to work with and chose to work with us. Business owners, executives, CEOs, doctors, ITs. We have influencers on the team. We have pro athletes. We have managers. If you fall in this, and all our clients are above 35 years old. If you don't fall in this category and we see that we're maybe not going to be a good fit, very likely that you'll not make it through with the application. Also, if you've never invested in your health, I highly recommend you first take advantage of the free information. Those are low-hanging fruits that will give you a lot of success immediately. If you're not ready to start right now, then apply when you're ready so we don't waste each other's time, right? Your body may change dramatically in a week or 2 weeks from now, and then we need to redo the process. If you're only looking for accountability, that's not what we do. Our clients need accountability and need everything else in the DNA sequence. If you feel like you still know it all, you're a professional, you do this yourself, and you know you can fix it on your own, then just do it by yourself. And then if you don't fall in any of the categories I just listed, don't apply. But these are the results we've gotten for our clients once they followed the DNA sequence. And some of these people have been on my channel: Harry, Sandra, James. I know each and every single one of these people personally. And my coaches even more: Shannon, Steven, Tori, Nicholas, 28 pounds, Jivan at 25, Maurice 46, 26 pounds. All of these time frames are in a 16 to 24 week time frame. And look at Luis, he didn't drop weight, he even went up in weight, but look at the body difference, look at the body composition. And this is why doing a DEXA scan is so important. John, 48 pounds, like listen to what he has to say.
I think I was eating, 1,000 calories a day. My metabolism was shot. I was about to go on a worldwide set of trips from London to Italy to Australia. And I called you up. I watched your videos because I said, I'm not doing something right. I'm not eating right. I watched your videos and was shocked to actually have you call me up, and meet with you. And you kind of convinced me. And my thought was, as soon as I get back from my vacation, I'll start up the program. And you were like, no, you're going to destroy yourself on vacation. We got to fix your metabolism first. I just believed you. It sounded good. You seemed very professional, everything. I just went for it.
And the list goes on. Like, We've been doing this for the last 4 years at Sculpt by Science, and personally, I've done this for a decade. There's no one better than us in this industry, and who cares as much as we do. This is personal for us. Dr. Ruth, look at Donnie. It's so amazing just seeing all of our clients, like their smile. They're so much happier after and so much more confident. Adrian, this is the perfect example of why working with us is so much easier. You can be as busy as can be. We will do the heavy lifting. We will just tell you what to do. Adrian, look, if you can see, he's on a ship right now. And that's when he started his transformation. Owns a dental clinic, getting his piloting license, and was traveling every 2 weeks. Dropped 13 pounds, so his abs looking incredible, right? David, Sam, Luis, Sir, 26 pounds. Doug, look at Doug, right? Just 10 pounds difference, but he looks incredible now. Craig, James, Mac. And if that's all you need to hear, you're convinced, we guarantee the result, and we're the best in the world. This is my life's work. I am so confident that we can help you. And if you are confident and you're ready to make the change, fill out the application, fill out the small 4-minute application, do it as best as you can so you give yourself the best chance to be able to work with us. And on the call, the idea is to understand what you've tried, where you are, and where you want to go. We're not incentivized to get anybody to join our program because there is a guarantee, and we're very selective with who we work with. We know who will get amazing results with us, and we know who won't. So fill out the application. I'll see you on the other side. But if you're 30 years old, you need to measure and understand your body at a molecular level, and you need to get a medical doctor to explain that to you. Awesome. I'll see you guys on the other side. Cheers.